Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday morning worship service of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church in Naperville, Illinois. I am Ann Ariano, a member of your Board of Trustees. We are so glad you are here, whether you are present in the sanctuary today or online. It is so good to be together. We welcome you to our church and invite you to get to know us better after the service. Today, we worship as a multi-generational community. Before we begin, let us take a moment to look around at those of us sharing this space. Let us recognize the hearts of our whole community, from our elders to our youngest and all those in between. Let us embody the beauty of this all-church community, even when there are a few more wiggles, giggles, and chatter. If you feel a need to move to a quieter space, feel free to do so. No harm, no foul. And there's one more announcement today. Thank you to all who participated in Auction 2023 Superheroes. As donors of goods and services, as bidders and winners, and as volunteers for the many, many tasks required to make this annual event happen. With the live last night and silent just closing at 8:30 a.m. this morning, preliminary success stands at $41,458. That tops our $37,000 from last year. Stay tuned for a more complete update and a more complete acknowledgement of our superhero volunteers in the coming week. Please settle up and pick up today in Creeves Hall for any purchases you made last night or during the silent auction. Your auction team of Jane Gano, Katie Hay, Lindy Spreetsma, and Ann Ariano is so very grateful for your support of this beloved community. And now, please, if you are online, we invite you to greet each other through the chat. And if you are here, we invite you to turn and greet someone you didn't come with. Thank you.
I light this chalice today for our fourth Unitarian Universal principle. We believe in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning.
Welcome to this place of love, of communal flourishing. We come together to open our hearts, expand our minds, and to see the sacred within each other. Come, let us worship together.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing hymn number 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song.
Please join me in reciting our covenant. We come together to affirm our relationship with one another, our shared commitment to our Unitarian Universalist principles, and to our DuPage UU Church community. We recognize our agency and our connective power, and we accept our responsibility to be bold and courageous in relationship with each other, so that we might transform ourselves and the world.
Our vision of beloved community is rooted in the relationships we have with each other, our world, and creation. Each week, we offer an opportunity to share our joys and concerns with one another. Today's flowers were given by Carolyn and Jean Atkin in celebration of their 65th wedding anniversary. Yay. And the $41,000 we raised yesterday would not have been possible without our fabulous auction team and all of the many, many volunteers that it takes to make the auction happen. Thank you to all of you. I have some exciting news from our Director of Membership and Engagement, Tina Lewis. She held her first, for us, membership class over the past 2 Sundays, and I am delighted to welcome 11 new members to our congregation. If you see Kevin Crowley, Jennifer Darling, May Frazier, Brenda Henry, Barbara Perry, Molly Ricks, Olivia Rodriguez, Ariel and Kate Steffens, Ingrid Temple, and Alexis Trocky, please welcome them to our congregation. Yes. So fabulous. I also have 2 pieces of news today that are heavier than the lovely news we heard earlier. Larry Appleson shares that Barbara Appleson, member of this congregation, has moved into hospice care earlier this week. He asks for your thoughts and your prayers. He's also asking that people do not send cards or make calls at this time. However, he will be asking for meals once a week, and the Pastoral Ministries Associates will be coordinating this effort. So if you're interested in helping out, please watch for their notices or contact one of our PMAs. And from Cheryl Clayton. Many of you know my husband Michael has had some challenging health issues lately. I report to you today that he collapsed with a cardiac arrest event shortly after midnight Wednesday night and did not recover. Those of us who knew him are holding each other up. To be at home with life, we must make our peace with death. The love we have given to others is the only thing that death cannot kill. Only the love we give away remains. Please hold Cheryl and her family in your heart as they navigate this deep loss. And the situation in Israel and Palestine continues. The conflict escalates, and I encourage each and every one of you to contact your senators if you feel so moved to ask for a ceasefire. Death can only bring more death. The cares of the world weigh on us, but our connections here hold us, whether the news be good or concerning. Today, I invite you for our meditative prayer to join me in a sung response based upon a Buddhist meditation.
It is time to gather. In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, children are usually formally named and welcomed into the religious community in a ceremony known as child dedication. The child dedication comes primarily from our Universalist heritage. As early as 1770, Universalist John Murray saw no justification for baptizing babies, and instead chose to create a naming ceremony in which the congregation dedicated children to the highest ideals. Murray would have said, dedicated children to God. By the 19th century, Midwestern Unitarians were combining flower ceremonies with what they called christenings, although some Unitarians were also saying they dedicated children. In the late 20th century, the Unitarians and Universalists joined forces, and many Unitarian Universalists felt no need to mention God in their naming ceremonies. Child dedications have now taken on several interrelated meanings. We welcome children into the world and into the religious community by formally giving them their name. We dedicate children to the highest ideals of life. The congregation dedicates itself to supporting the parents or guardians and the child or children as the children grow up. We rededicate ourselves to creating a more sane and just world, a world in which all children are welcomed and may thrive.
In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we govern our churches using something called congregational polity. This means that each church and minister decides on the rituals and traditions they will use and how they will enact those rituals. Steve Cooper and I have carefully crafted the litany of our children's dedication in our church. When we dedicate our children, we make 3 promises. First, a promise from the parents to guide their children into becoming their flourishing selves by providing a compass towards truth and belief. This promise is made by the parents and also by the caregivers and friends of the family, because we recognize there are many kinds of family, and even the most traditional nuclear family needs support raising their children. Second, children's dedications are a commitment by our congregation to support parents in this good and hard work by sharing our time, talent, and treasure to provide renewal opportunities for them as parents and religious education opportunities for these children. Third, it is a commitment by our congregation to love and nurture these children into a life filled with wonder and wisdom, mercy and justice, compassion, kindness, and love. Together as a community, we promise to support the flourishing of our children. These promises are made by our congregation because it takes all of us, a village, to raise our children. But we crafted these promises with a special promise from our children themselves. So often we think of our children as not yet members, but our children are fully and completely members of this congregation. If we do not include them now, if we wait until they are considered adults, they will never be part of our community. Moreover, a commitment by our children to be kind to each other, to live into our values, and to be friends with those who are being dedicated means they begin to enact our values and find out what it means to be part of the beloved community.
The blessing that we offer our children is an acknowledgement of their whole being, mind, body, and spirit. And with the values of our faith tradition and the values of this church, when we bless our children, we say, "Blessed be your mind, that you may grow in wisdom. Blessed be your heart, that you may know and act in love. Blessed be your hands, that you might help others. And blessed be your feet, that you might walk the path of justice and liberation all your life. This blessing is rooted in what we wish to see in the world. It is what we as adults work our whole lives to become. Today, during the 11:30 service, our congregation will be blessing the children of the Campos Lime family. While you will not be participating in the ritual, we do hope that you will share in the joy of welcoming these children into our midst. We hope that you will share with Jeremy and Rosa your blessing for their children and for their presence in our congregation. Please stand in body or spirit as we sing hymn number 1030, Sia Hamba.
Giving of our treasure is how we reciprocate the many gifts that we are given by the community. Your contribution supports the programs and operations of DuPage UU Church. Giving is also how we live our values in the world. Each month, we share our offerings with an organization nominated by the congregation and selected by the special offering team. During November, the special offering will benefit the Humanitarian Service Project, nominated by Karen Hutt. The Humanitarian Service Project is dedicated to enhancing the quality of life for seniors and children affected by poverty. They serve the elderly, children, and their families in DuPage and Kane counties with meals and other essentials. Their programs are designed to meet the basic needs of those struggling in poverty and to support their emotional well-being. HSP is a private nonprofit, and their goal is to live in a community where no child, senior, mom, dad, or grandparent fears going to bed hungry, and they have a safe place to come for help. For more information on the Humanitarian Service Project, please visit hsp.agency. The morning's offerings to support the work of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church and of the Humanitarian Service Project is given and received in a spirit of generosity and gratitude. Our reading today is an excerpt from Sharon Delos Park's book, Big Questions, Worthy Dreams. The word Shraddha permeates Hindu literature and is assumed in all religious sensibility. As such, it functions as an Indian concept of faith. Shraddha is a compound of two words, shrad, heart, and da, to put. Shraddha means placing one's heart on. This tradition has said that the religious life, whatever its form, begins with faith. And faith, in its turn, is one's finding within that life, one's being found by, something to which one gives one's heart. Shraddha in itself leaves unspecified the object of faith. It can be recognized, however, that one gives one's heart only to that which one sees as adequate, trustworthy, and promising. Indeed, the Hindu insight that, in fact, the universe and human beings were created in such a way that faith is the intrinsically appropriate human orientation towards what is true and right and real. Its absence or opposite, ashraddha, unfaith, disinterest, being recognized similarly as the proper human attitude to what is false and awry. Faithing, then, is putting one's heart into that which one trusts as true. It is a bedrock trust that the pattern one sees is real. Faithing, in other words, is the ongoing composing of the heart's true resting place. Thus, learning to see and to know in increasingly adequate ways is critical to faith. We may think of faith, therefore, as the deep ground, the loom on which the rest of the particular threads of life's tapestry find their place. Or the activity of faith might be imagined as the weaving of an overarching canopy of significance that embraces, orders, and relativizes all of our knowing and being. Both metaphors convey faith as infinitely transcendent in character and simultaneously profoundly immanent. Faith is an activity that at once reaches infinitely beyond and intimately within the particulars of existence. A worthy faith must bear the test of lived experience in the real world, our discoveries and disappointments, expectations and betrayals, assumptions and surprises. It is in the ongoing dialogue between self and world, between community and lived reality, that meaning of faith takes form.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 391, Voice Still and Small.
I have found that sometimes Unitarian Universalists wear their non-beliefs like a badge of pride, showing off their shiny and well-polished trophy of everything they do not believe. You can laugh, it's okay. In fact, I can walk into most UU churches and within moments have a sense of what is not important to them, what they do not believe in. Not only that, I know what their triggers might be, you know, that unhealed religious trauma, by what words are used or not used in worship, by the symbols in or not in their building. How many of you can do this too? Yeah. In fact, I know that many Unitarian Universalists begin their elevator speech, you know, that speech they use to describe Unitarian Universalism to people who aren't UUs within 30 seconds, by beginning with, "We do not believe." Now, knowing what you do not believe is important. It helps us through what is vital to our lives and what is not. What one doesn't believe, though, is actually the first step into finding out what one does believe. The second step is usually the reasons for not believing, right? For those of us who have left the faith traditions of the past, those that the Pew Research Center calls dones, done with religion, this makes sense. We have been harmed and hurt by these traditions, sometimes to the point in which our whole existence as beings has been questioned or ostracized. Many of these dones have made it into our congregations. I'm one of them. And we have been given the gift in Unitarian Universalism and in our Unitarian Universalist love to find space in which we dones can be welcomed and healed. It's a beautiful, beautiful gift. But it's also one that many of us have not yet found completion in. We haven't taken the steps after number 1 or 2. What do I mean by that? Unitarian Universalism has often given people space to feel welcome, to come home to feel full and complete as a person. But we haven't done a really good job at facilitating the process that's actually listed in our 7 principles, the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Now, I'm not saying that we failed to give people their faith. After all, we are a religion rooted in the free search. We have no doctrine or dogma that one must adhere to. But you also cannot believe whatever you want to in our churches, a saying that has actually come from the Duns that joined our churches in the 60s and the 70s. After all, what you do not believe is far less important than what you do believe. As an example, when Unitarian Universalists tell me that they don't believe in God, all that tells me is you don't believe in God. I don't know if that means you don't believe in the white-bearded man in the sky or Shiva or Odin. I don't know if you believe the world, how you believe the world came to exist. I don't know what you believe is the purpose of your life, and it tells me nothing about your beliefs, which can make it really darn hard to be your minister. And it means I don't know what's important to you. The struggle to articulate or even know one's belief is often wrapped up in religious trauma or, at the very least, a rejection of much of the traditional theological terminology Christianity and other traditions use. Words like God, salvation, and sin, but also words like believe and faith. I get it. The language has baggage, right? But it's also incredibly useful as a common language that we can translate. When I see or use the word God in a Unitarian Universalist context like here, I use that language to describe my understanding of the Taoist way, the pattern of the universe, the laws and order of the natural world. It doesn't matter to me that one of you might use it to describe a Trinitarian God, or the natural world, or a goddess. For all of us, we share that core tenet of the word God, the basic definition, that which is ultimate to us, or as the theologian Paul Tillich put it, the ultimate ground of being. The word faith, which is intricately linked to the word believe, is also often another baggage-filled word. For many of us with religious trauma, or just simply frustration with religious language, the word faith may imply a supernatural component. But I don't think so. The Apostle Paul in the Christian New Testament scripture writes, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." Paul might have been describing his understanding of a physical, supernatural God, but that phrase could easily be applied more humanistically. For instance, I have faith, assurance, in my hope that someday we will reach and act the beloved community here on earth, a conviction that I know I will not see in my lifetime. In fact, even the next part of Paul's statement where he writes, "By faith we understand that the worlds were prepared by the word of God, so that what is seen was made from things that are not seen," is something I can translate into my own theology. For I believe the pattern of the universe was prepared by the laws of physics being a part of my belief in God, and that those laws of physics, through the Big Bang, made the universe from something not visible. Not only are these things that I have faith in, but by framing them in a common language, it lets me dialogue with other faith traditions. This came in handy during seminary in a Christian seminary, let me tell you. The excerpt from Sharon Delos Park's book, Big Questions, Worthy Dreams, that Laura so gratefully read, names the understanding of faith, of how we believe, in one of the most universal ways that I can imagine. The Hindu word for faith, Shraddha, is defined as the heart's resting place. One of our struggles as a faith tradition is not helping our members find the resting place of their hearts. When we are only able to articulate what we don't believe, we're not able to share what's important with us, what our truth is, not only as a person, but as a community. Not knowing where our heart rests means that our passions can easily be changed, our commitments might be moved, and most concerning of all, it means that when we come to a moment of struggle, a time of intense pain and hurt, an existential crisis, we have nothing to cling to, making it very easy to fall into despair and desperation. While we as a faith tradition have failed to help people find their heart's resting place, generally speaking, that doesn't mean we haven't created the tools or the framework to do this work. As Unitarian Universalists, we often look at our 7 principles as aspirational statements, things we hope for. This is certainly a type of faith, but our 7 principles are actually part of what my heart rests on. When I lose hope, when I sink towards despair, I look to our principles to remind me of my heart's resting place. Now, the principles are the first layer of my heart's resting place, the end statements of the things that I find most important in this world. I might describe it like this. The principles are what I wish to see in the world, the things I hope for. And they are actually actions that might lead to that unseen world. The image I think of is a pillow. The principles are the velvety soft outer layer upon which my heart rests. My faith, though, is the inner cushion, the substance of the pillow, the down feathers or the cotton. This is the real holder of my heart. As lovely as that velvet layer is, if there's nothing on the inside, there's no cushion when my heart breaks, nor is there anything holding me up when I'm challenged. So we might ask, if the velvet of your pillow consists of the inherent worth and dignity of every person, what is the stuffing that fills the velvet upon which your heart rests? Is the stuffing a belief in God as love? Or the sacredness you find within each person? Or the miracle of the biology of existence? While our principles offer us the framework, the velvet, it's up to us to dig deeper, to find the foundations, the stuffing of our heart's resting place, so that we can prioritize what is important to us as individuals and as a community, so that we can work to bring about the things we hope for. Things like the flourishing of all people and beloved community. This work is vital to becoming who we are meant to be as people and as a church. This work is actually inherent in our mission statement when we commit to growing in character, mind, and spirit. And more importantly, we do this work for ourselves so we can help our children do this work. In fact, this is what we will be promising during our children's dedication today. We wish our children to go forth spreading the word of our great faith and giving them those foundations so they can confidently navigate a difficult and hopeless world. Our stuffing doesn't have to be the same because the velvet outer layer is what holds us together. But without the stuffing, we risk that velvet layer becoming stagnant, performative, and even worse, fundamental. We might insist that there is only one way to view the outer layer if we have not taken the time to find the inner stuffing and learn what it means to be with each other. The good news, though, is that finding the stuffings of our pillow is our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. It's our life's journey, one in which we engage in here in this loving community through our relationships with each other, through Sunday morning worship, through our adult educational opportunities, and even through things like our gathering yesterday before our live auction. These are the roots of that stuffing. The journey for our heart's resting place is never ceasing, but it's a journey in which we are not alone, accompanied by the love of this community. May it be so.
Please rise in body or spirit to join us in singing hymn number 182, Oh, the Beauty in a Life.
My greatest wish for each and every one of you is that you find your heart's resting place. And even more so, my greatest wish for you all is that you find it here in this beloved community, that we may help others find theirs as well. May we go forth spreading the news of this resting place for people's hearts rooted in the love and justice of community. May it be so.
Please join me in reading the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish the light of this chalice, but not the light in our hearts. Until we meet again, may the warmth of our community carry you.